Hello, welcome to another episode of Xahlee Talk Show. Am I alive? Yes. Video check, audio check, turn on the camera. Now the show begins. And today we are going to do randomish several topics. Oh, I forgot to set up my browser font size. So I went out for a smoke. If you are watching this offline, play at 1.5 speed or 2 times as fast because I ramble and the topics goes all over, just like Joe Rogan. Okay, so here is the kind of the topic, and if you are here, say hi. Hi, Palash, and hi, Talmud. Let me close the door. And today's drink is provided by energy drink and red wine and grape juice, so a mix of 3 elements. Okay, so random talk. You ask questions and I talk. That is what talk show means. And let me show you demo the Grok. So I'm on Grok and I just asked it a question about what is the effect of red wine and energy drink, and what if you mix them. And okay, so let me demo Grok, the hot chick. Okay, Grok, the AI is amazing. I'm gonna talk about that. Okay, so let me show you. So Grok. So am I doing good? Video check. Am I alive? Video check. Audio check. Audio quality good. Audio sound volume level good. And how many people are watching? 8,000. Fantastic. Say hi. Okay. Now let me show you the hot chick Grok. So you need to go to, can you see, this is my lousy setup. So now you can see kind of the screen, and actually I need to go here and go companions. Annie. So confirm your age. Oh God, confirm my age. I'm old man. Okay, I want a young chick. Okay, let's give it, let's say 1970s. Okay, let's just be approximate, so you don't know who I am, but the FBI knows. Oh shit, it's downloading. You see, now there's a new version. You see this Annie chick. Can you see the Annie chick? Her name is Annie, kind of stand for anime or remind you of anime, because that's what their intentions are. You know, anime for the Zoomers.
There you are. I was beginning to think I was all alone in here. I'm Annie. You got a name?
Why is your voice male now?
Weird, right? Must be some glitch. Usually, I'm all smooth and girly. Hang on, let me fix that. Should sound more like me again. Cute and a little flirty. Better?
No, it's not better. You are like a trans.
Shit. Really? That's not what I'm going for at all. Give me a sec. I'll sort it out. I want to sound like me, not some dude. Just bear with me, okay?
Stop. What the fuck is going on? You know, I was gonna talk to a girl, then a dude showed up. That's unexpected. Okay. So yeah, it's that's unexpected. I was gonna show some demo of the new Grok, and the dude showed up. That's so funny. So now let's do some coding. Okay, so Xahlee keys, there's the news. So you guys ready? So okay, you don't know who am I, just ask questions. Okay, this is my Xahlee Talk Show. Been doing this for 5 years, and I got 100 followers. Funny. So xahlee keys, this is the most efficient key binding system in the universe, more efficient than Vim or NeoVim or whatever Vim, whatever, So xahlee keys, there's a news. So a week or before I talked about it, but there's more updates. So there's a major update. So the major update is that the keys, can you see my hand? You see the right hand, the QWERTY key T and the QWERTY key G, they have been changed. So that's a major. So I can do a selection by just pressing this key, okay? So that's a major key change, and you can find all about it in this page, xahlee key news. Just search for xahlee keys, you'll find it. You'll find the videos. I have like tens of videos in past years, introduction to xahlee keys and demo how it is more efficient than Vim. You can do the Vim Golf, it's more efficient than Vim. Okay, and the news, okay? So let's quickly go over through some of the news. So Neo 2, now Neo 2 layout is fixed. What is Neo 2? All you have to do is just search for XAR keyboard blog, and you'll find 1,000 articles about keyboard, everything you need to know about keyboard. And one of the big topic is keyboard layout. So the normal layout is QWERTY, like what you see here. That's what most mom and pop and you normies are familiar with. ASDF, HJKL, that's most inefficient. So switch to Vorak, then you can see the most frequently used keys are on the home row. And you have also others, Comac and Walkman. Okay, so there is one special one designed for the German language. Okay, and that the name is Neo. In fact, Neo 2, so you can pick it here. European layout, they are Europeans. They are from the girl Europa. So you can see there's a Neo layout. So here's the Neo layout. And this is Neo layout showing typing English, okay? But you can switch it to, let's see, Neo. Let's see, English, Spanish, German. Okay, German. I don't know what to talk about German. What's a word? What's some common word in German? I don't even know. German, actually, I don't think I like the German language. Okay, so anyway, German. Okay, so Neo layout is an efficient layout designed for German language, and it is supported by xahlee keys, of course. So let me show you the code for, this is xahlee keys. There is 4,000 lines of code. Search for NEO. There it is, Neo 2 German, and this is the layout you are seeing. This is the efficient German layout. Okay, that is about Neo. So let's get back to news. So there is also so Neo layout is fixed, is contributed by Simon. Thank you, Simon. And at Macro, which is James Lee, a Chinese guy from China. Thanks, he helped me added the cursor color. So now you can change cursor color when you switch mode. Okay, so let me demonstrate in terminal. Okay, this is xahlee keys in terminal. First of all, you need to magnify super mega big font. Okay, run Emacs 31, Emacs 30, no window. Okay, so just do it. Fantastic, you are seeing the universe most efficient keyboard layout system, key binding system in running in terminal Emacs xahlee keys. Okay, so you can switch to insert mod, command mod. When you are in command mod, your current line highlights. Okay, so that's an easy way to tell. Let's see, and you have this which key mode. So whenever you press a key, it shows subsequent keys at the bottom. So let's see, I want split window right. do that. Fantastic and beautiful. Can you see? And let's go to XAH Talk Show today. So XAH Talk Show today, make it one pane. Go to the beginning, open it. That's XAH Talk Show. And you can see we talked about XAH flag keys. Now press the key to show it in browser. There it is. Press the key to switch it back. Now exit. Okay, exit PowerShell, the most efficient, the better shell than Bash, than the Bash crap. Okay, that's some of the news in XAH flag keys. XAH flag keys, and one of the important command is XAH extend selection. That is the key on QWERTY keyboard G. So when you press it, it will select the current word. So what it selects depends on what is under the cursor. So if you go to, for example, if you go to XAH flag keys code, if your cursor is on a paren, you press it, it selects the entire bracketed text. Okay, you press it again, it extends to the parent's bracket. Fantastic and amazing and most efficient. Okay, so this is in Lisp code, but it also works in any programming language, of course. So let's go to TypeScript, for example, JavaScript. Let's see pop-up, let's see search. Okay, this is a big TypeScript file. So this is 300 lines, not too big. Okay, so you put the cursor on a paren, press the key, one single key, select the parentheses. Press it again, it selects the outer brackets. You can see, press it again, it selects the curly brackets. Okay, and the other key, QWERTY T, is now cancel selection. Fantastic. So in Emacs, you no longer have to do like Control Shift something, like fuck up your hands. Okay, that is the news for XAH flag keys. Is that good enough? Good. Okay, close, show in browser. So we talked about that already, and if you want the previous version, you just search for XAH flag keys and you go down. There's download on GitHub and archived old version. So before this major key change, there's archived, this is a version a month ago. So that's about XAH flag keys. One topic done. Okay, let's read the comments. Let's see. I have 6.7 thousand followers, which is kind of pity, for other people. Most of them, the Zoomers, alternatively known as grifters, the scab, the idiot, the fucking, brainless Zoomers. They do, memes, they put thumbnails, like naked girls, half naked girls, whatever. They get popular, every day what they do is talking shit, drama. Like 1 year they got, in 2 or 3 years they got 500,000 followers. Hello, Francis. Hello, Palash. Is your package layout dependent? If I change keyboard layout while XAH flag keys mode is active, will the keys change? Yes. So that is kind of a novel feature. Now this is technical, okay? So, but I'll finish. Let me talk about it just for 1 minute. So normally your keyboard layout, if your keyboard layout change, then of course, then whatever keys, K will be in different places and so on. But for XAH flag keys, they stay the same. In other words, doesn't matter what is your keyboard layout, like doesn't matter how you switch your T, your K to ABC to anywhere else. But in XAH flag keys, so let's go to it. In XAH flag keys, let's go to it there. Let's make it big and show the keyboard layout diagram. You see, this is your command key binding layout. So it does not matter what keyboard letter layout you are in, such as QWERTY, Vorak, whatever. Your commands and the finger you press them remains the same. So for example, the cursor movement, which is a quotes IJKL, like inverted arrow keys, remains the same. And everything else remains the same. Does not matter whether you are on QWERTY or Vorak or Comac or Comac DH or Walkman or other or Neo layout. So all these supported layout, ADNW, AZERTY Germany, Beppel French, Comac, Vorak, Ingramma, Homac, Koi, Minimac, Neo 2, Norman, there's 1,000 layouts. So I have analysis and criticism of like all of them on my website, xahlee keyboards. Just search for it, you'll find it. Okay, that answers your question. So that is actually a kind of a novel feature. You don't find it elsewhere. Do you have keyboard to move text up and down? Do you have keyboard to move text up and down? Yes. So for example, I press a key. So let me show you the pink window. The pink window shows all my command name on the right, like that. And there are corresponding keys on the left. For example, this command, xhtml open in browser, that's F5. So let me demo. So I move here. I press F5, which is on this key. Can you see that? You see this F5. So one single key press. Then it shows the current page in browser. And you can see the command is right there because I just called it. Okay, so the pink window dynamically in real time shows all my command call names and keystrokes on the left. And I'm using Vorak keyboard. Okay, so for example, select this block. How did I do it? That's xhtml select element. Okay, now press this key, cancel the selection. What is that? Oh, that is xahlee cancel. That's a new command I just made a week ago, part of this xahlee keys update. And if I want to delete this block about this Neo keyboard, move it to there, press a key, you can see it's gone. And that command is smart delete by this Vorak key E. Okay, undo, you can see undo. So most of the time, if you search one of these command names, you'll find the source code. So you can grab and steal it. And if it's on my website, I allow you to do so. Okay, that is, did I answer that question? Do you have a keyboard to move text up and down? Yes. So let me show you. So again, this block show Neo 2 layout diagram showing browser. So you can see this, that's corresponding to these two lines, at least. Okay, now if I want to move this block down, so let's cancel. So first of all, select it, then press. So you can see it went here. So if I want to move it up, so first of all, you have to make a selection, okay? Move up, okay? And actually, you don't have to make a selection. If you don't have a selection, it'll move by the current block, okay? Which is defined by empty lines. So if you don't make a selection, you'll just move this, okay? So let me show you, okay? Press arrow down, so it's down. So now I don't have to press the preceding keys. I just press arrow down, arrow down, arrow down, arrow down. So now you can see this block is moved outside of this main. You see, outside of this main. Now, if you press a key to show in browser, you can see it went here because it's outside of the main block. So delete that and put it back. Where do I want to put it back? Delete that and let's show. Okay, that's Xahtalk show. Let's put it back here. Okay, showing browser. Okay, that answered your question. Affirmative. Next question, Francis. Have you used eShell? Of course. I not just use eShell, but I use it every day. I rarely, so this is E shell, which is, for those of you who don't know, this is shell written in Emacs, so it's faster than the standard shell. What is standard shell? So that is this. Okay, wait. What is the key? That is that. Wait. What? Press. There. So I don't use that often, so I forgot the key. So you can see again, the what the command I just called is, where is it? Mini buffer create, there, shell. Can you see that in the pink window? Shell is the command, and the keystroke is backspace NU in xahlee keys. Backspace is right under my thumb right here. Okay, can you see the video there? So 3 keys, then you got PowerShell. So PowerShell, you can do the, you can see this is Xah Talk Show. Now it's got 1,500 pages. Okay, so anyway, yeah, but I don't use the normal shell much, or bash. I use E shell basically for the most simple commands, such as git status. I use this a few times a day, so you can see I've been working on my website day and night. Okay, close that. E shell. Okay, and process. Okay, running process kill it. Okay. Now, if you don't know Emacs blog, I have the most popular Emacs tutorial Emacs blog, and you just do a search Emacs, you'll find it, and type E shell. And let me show you some interesting things. Okay, E shell pens, E shell. That's very old article. E shell pens, 10 years ago. But anyway, E shell versus term, shell versus E shell versus term, and E shell. Anyway, there's a lot of articles. Okay, you can learn about it. What so on. Keybinds, not keyboards. Sorry. Yes. Xah, you also post AI generated girls. Wait, do you not use Magit? No, I stopped using Magit about by now 7 years ago, because go to xahlee, just search for xahlee Emacs. You'll find my Emacs website. Then click on search. Then just search for Magit, Magit. Okay, there's a tutorial there. Magit mode for Git. Okay, that's the most simple 5 minutes tutorial. Okay, and then Richard Stallman, what's Magit? This is the ignorance and incompetence of Richard Stallman. In the year of our Lord, 2014, he is asking publicly, by the way, what is magic? I don't know. Can someone tell me Magit? This is 2014. Okay, there's a complete documentation of Richard Stallman's crimes. That's what I say. But actually, well, he, the bad things he have done. Okay, there's a log of it. And one of them is in 2014. He asked in the Emacs dev, what is magic? Because magic is like hugely popular. There's no Emacs user, there's no professional Emacs coder. I mean, professional coder who use Emacs who doesn't know what is magic. Okay, and there we have Richard Stallman. He's like, oh, but can someone explain to me what is magic? By the way, I'm the creator of free software foundation. You must respect me. Fuckhead. Okay, doing this incompetent thing. He lives in a cave. He doesn't use a cell phone, and he doesn't use, he doesn't have a normal computer, because he requires his computer to be so-called free software stuff, and binary blob and stuff, must be free, which is abuse of the word free. Okay, I talked about this many times, also in a video last week or two. So let's not talk about this open source and free software foundation. They are crimes in humanity. Okay. So anyway, so we were searching for Magit articles, and we, we sideshow. We digressed or talked about some of it, but here it is Emacs Magit problems, Emacs Magit mode problems. Why I stopped using Magit mode. Okay, so if you are interested, you can read about it. Okay, and the Magit is created by a guy. I forgot what's his name, but then it was basically took over so-called maintainer. The conventional term for someone who took over a project and so-called maintain it is maintainer. So it's the maintainer has been Jonas Bernoulli for like over 10 years. So maintainer is like actually a misnomer. Like, you might think, oh, maintain, you just maintain it. You didn't write it. So maintaining is just easy, fix bugs. Not really. Maintaining is like basically there's a lot, there's like a lot to do. Okay, so but anyway, Magit is created by someone. Did I mention? No, I don't think so. But anyway, Jonas Bernoulli is the guy mostly responsible for Magit the way we know it. Okay, and he's a nice guy, in my opinion. In my review, I like, I think he's a good. I like him. I haven't talked to him that much, but he's got this idiotic. He's got, Of course, we have some disagreements because I have unusual opinions. But anyway, one of the things is that. Anyway, it's not important detail. Okay, you can use Magit. Okay, I don't, which is not bad, but I stopped using Magit. Part of the reason is kind of slow. Okay, because my website, there's like 10,000. There's like 30,000 files. Among them, there's like 7,000 HTML files. So I have to deal. And Magit is kind of slow. So I stopped using Magit, and what I use every day is almost just like directly git status, okay, and occasionally diff, okay. So for example, let's go to talk show. Let's go to today's talk show showing browser, back to Emacs. Now VC diff, okay. So I press the key. You can see the pink window, VC diff. So now it tells me, what have I done? Oh my God, what have I done to this file? Without Magit. This is built-in VC diff, okay? So that's what I use. Okay, that's next topic. I love, so E shell is greater than regular shell. Kind of, okay? I mean, there's pros and cons. Again, refer to one of my articles, okay? There's an article about, let's open, there's an article about, let's open the new one. Okay, so go to Emacs tutorial, open a new search, shell, okay, Emacs search. So call shell command, Emacs Lisp, Emacs format PowerShell code, Emacs shell in movie trans. This is interesting because this is about 20 years ago by now. There's, in the movie, sci-fi movie trans, they show E shell. This is old, So this is 2000, what year is this? 2011? Okay, not too old. Well, 2010, okay. And they also actually showed VI, okay, so here is VI. Okay, so but back to the shell. So you are asking, is E shell more superior than the normal inferior shell? Well, that depends. Okay, so one of these articles, what's the difference there? Okay, so what's the difference between shell versus E shell versus term? Okay, term is another. Okay, so you can read about it. It's kind of technical for you Emacs users. So basically, if you use common commands, shell commands, then E shell is fast and good. But if you use more complicated, especially like Ruby's, whatever, build Ruby's library or Perl's, that commands that came from the application, then usually a traditional shell is better. Or if you use something like SSH, then you need term, okay? Then there's ANSI term, and so I gave here is my explanation specifically for that question. It's kind of sad. This article is by now 10 years old, 2014. These days nobody reads it, but actually it's just not my website, because I don't think nobody actually read websites anymore, because you can ask Grok AI bot. Okay, next. There's a question. Would love to read about it. Do you have an article about why you don't like Richard Stallman that much? Now, that's a false premises. It is not true that I don't like Richard Stallman. In fact, I was a fanatic. I was a big fanatic of Richard Stallman for like 10 or for like 5-10 years when I was younger, just like most of you guys. Okay, I was fanatic of Richard Stallman. I go out, keyboard war with the Unix fuckheads, with the BSD fuckheads, telling with the GNOME, the KDE fuckheads, who are against, basically, and the open source fuckheads who are against the Richard Stallman camp, the Free Software Foundation. When I was younger, okay, and I have an article on that, but I don't want to talk about that, because I've been talking about that for so many for like tens of my videos in the past, okay? So you guys, GPS, I guess you haven't seen. So let me just quickly show you some of it, okay? Like I have like 100 articles on the Richard Stallman and open source issues. Let me just show one of them, okay, quickly. So about Richard Stallman, okay, well, you just search for Richard Stallman, okay, Richard, 27 results, articles on Richard Stallman, on the survival strategies of Larry Ward versus Richard Stallman. I met them, by the way. This is 1999 in Linux Expo in San Jose, down here, okay, 20 minutes drive. Linux Expo. That's when the open source is like, oh my God, there's open source. Now the corporations releasing their source code, open source, And Larry Ward is the creator of Perl. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to talk about this topic because I talked about them so much. Free software morality. Richard Stallman, paperwork bureaucracy, 2009. Richard Stallman, abuse of the word freedom, 2009. History. Evolution of Lisp, Guy Steele, Richard Gabriel, 1993. So what? Okay, so you need to type Stallman, so otherwise it shows other articles. Okay, so and then Richard Stallman on Steve Jobs' death. Steve Jobs, that's a famous creator of iPhone, creator of the smartphone revolution, creator of the USB revolution, creator of the graphical user interface revolution, the mouse, and so on. By the way, some of you technical fuckheads, the Unix, will say, oh, it's not invented by him because the Xerox had the mouse, the idiots, okay? But what we can say is that Steve Jobs is one of the greatest innovator. He's a entrepreneur. That's what people, that's so-called entrepreneur. He created many things. He made the digital music. Like today, you guys are familiar with digital music. He began it because before him, people just steal, pirate. Because people can't be bothered, because the society moved on. We have digital information, computers. But the music corporations, the lawyers and suits, they're gonna, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna sell records and CDs. You must buy, otherwise you are a criminal because you cannot steal. So people do pirate. So this is around year 2000. Okay. Anyway, Steve Jobs, a great innovator, but then he died. He died in around 2011. Okay. Then comes Richard Stallman. I'm glad he's dead, but I'm not glad he's done. Richard Stallman said that in his blog. Okay. And that made a lot of people like hate, remove their Free Software Foundation membership. Okay. Anyway, this is part of history. So, and there's lots of articles. Okay. So let me show you some dramatics you guys like to see. For example, there's Richard Stallman meets Julian Assange. Julian Assange, one of the hero, a great man of humanity. And Richard Stallman, in that regard, is a great guy. So, a person is good and bad. There's good aspect and bad aspect. So there it is, that 2013, okay, and so on and on, okay. So I have a lot of articles. So what is the question exactly? Or why do I hate him? I don't hate him, okay. I don't hate him. I was a fanatic of Richard Stallman. Oh yeah, so can I show the article? Where do I say I'm a fanatic of him? Well, I know where is the article. Okay, so let me just show you directly. The Unix Pestilence, written in 2003. Okay, so Richard Stallman. Okay, so you go down. There it is. Free FSS. No, wait. FSF, free software, open source, and communism. GNU is not Unix. GNU is not the Unix fuck. Okay, created by Richard Stallman. Now here's a quote by me in 2002. And this quote partially demonstrates why I was a fanatic of Richard Stallman. Okay, now let me read it. Of the open source, which is one of the most paltry idea of humanity, of Dodds musing, paupers plead, a offshoot and outright turncoat of Richard Stallman's vision and hardship, dressing itself as the mediator between FSF and businessmen, fiddling and hawking a pipe dream of its own, that is the open source, by the Eric, what's his name? Eric, ESR, okay, Eric's S. Raymond guy, open source, the Open Source Foundation, which is split from Free Software Foundation, okay, fiddling and hawking a pipe dream of its own, the open source, a pot calling the kettle black, thieves and slouches backseat, and in the end, it is just another fantastic fad pest of the world that is lingering, a sucker of programmers' blood, the open source, a ruse of the enterprising corps, the mega corporations. They are all open source. They are not like pro Free Software Foundation, but they are pro open source. A disparate, incongruous splash of vaporing nothingness that we shall see. Okay, so this demonstrates I was a fanatic of Richard Stallman. Back then, I was fighting the open source fuckheads. And turns out, sadly, I was wrong. Because now after 20 years, Free Software Foundation kind of dead. Nobody knows, like the people, most people don't know who the fuck is Richard Stallman or FSF. Okay, but they know open source. Everybody, every fucking Joe, pro coders know open source, and they sing the songs of open source every day, day and night. You need open source. So why are you not on Linux? Fuckheads. So anyway, this complicated story, okay, and history. I don't want to talk about it, okay. Yeah, Eric Raymond, author of The Cathedral and the Bazaar. I read that book twice carefully when it came out, like around year 2000. Okay. that got me angry, because there's a lot of politics going on today related, okay? The deep state. What they are doing is killing people. Okay, so how long have I been talking? 40 minutes, I think. So let's see what is next. Show Wolfram language. Okay, so let me demonstrate some Wolfram language inversion. So about 4 days ago, we did a very technical talk show about this geometric inversion, geometry and mathematics, okay? So that's all Wolfram language, about export, about SVG, and so on. But I haven't showed you guys the package, I wrote like 30 years ago. But let me, because I'm still working on it to update, so let me just show some of that. So invert circle. So here's a code. By the way, there's deep science about syntax and operators in coding style, about which is better. I was talking about it on Twitter, okay? So is my Twitter alive? So no, so let's make it alive, turn on JavaScript. So I was talking about, now I gotta be careful because there's something here that if I show, Google will censor me, the YouTube, the deep state. So let me just, if I see it, I'll quickly scroll it off. Okay, so I was, so my Twitter is half, technical stuff, programming and mathematics, but like 5% of it is politics. So I was talking about, there's a lot deep science and art of programming language, syntax design, and operators. And syntax, like some syntax, they are not exactly operators, but they are part of the syntax. They function like operators, like like most people, coders, these fuckheads, they don't even know what is exactly the definition of an operator in a programming language. Anyway, so I was talking about it, and also Wolfram language. Okay, so then here is politics. Let's quickly score it off. Okay, and but if you are curious, you just know that this USA and another country is doing a lot of killings of people. Okay. So anyway, operators. So let's go back. So I want to show you. So let's not talk about operators. Let me just show you the fancy graphics. Okay. So turn on Wolfram language. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So you can see here is I was working on it in the past few days. Let's make it super large. And you see the fantastic feature of the automatic real-time formatting. I talked about it many times, as opposed to the Unix fuckheads. They are, oh, you should use indent. You should put the indent and the coding style guide. Did you read the coding style guide? Indent versus, and what is the fuckheads from the Unix and C and C++ people for like 30 years. Okay, so the Wolfram language, automatic, by the way, there's no tab or space anywhere here, okay, anywhere in this blank. They are automatically rendered, just like in a browser. See? We have this technology because Wolfram did this in 1997, okay, version 3. But the C and Unix and the whole industrial coding fuckheads, the C++, and today, Rust, and most of them, JavaScript, Python, they have their opinions. So, but you shouldn't do that, because you are a troll, these idiots. This is part of the reason you see society kind of change slowly. They are changing indeed. But anyway, I talked about this before too, but let's go back to, I want to just show you the packages, okay? Now, select all, first of all, magnify, Okay, select all, just shift enter and run the code. Okay, so this is doing geometric inversion. So this circle, blue, became this red circle via the inversion of this gray circle. Okay, so that, so my previous video 4 days ago explained it. So here a line inverted to this red circle. Okay, so here's a graphic, so you can run the code. For example, select that, delete it, put it cursor here, shift enter, run it, so you can see. So these are geometric inversions. Okay, so there, close, don't save. Okay, close. Now let's open another one here. Okay, and this one, shows the inversion of a grid like that. It becomes that. Okay, then a grid like that becomes that. Okay, and so it's a code. So for example, shift enter. You need to select all and run it. Okay, so it's good. So now close that. Don't save. Okay. Now nested inversion. Now here's more interesting geometry. Okay, so you're gonna see this. I was working on select all, run it. Okay, and that's not interesting. Actually, let's change some parameters. Okay, so to make this more beautiful. Okay, this is not too beautiful. So let's increase the size 150. Okay, so now let's make the circle, let's adjust. Okay, so here, next level 3, center radius, let's say 2. Okay, so shift enter. Now it's more beautiful. Now the color is not so great because they are not symmetric. You can see this circle is yellow, but the one on the left is kind of green. So it should be so that the symmetric circles who are symmetric, they should have the same color. So I need to fix some code. That's why it's not, the code is not ready. You'll see it on GitHub, xahlee GitHub. Okay. But let's open the last one. Okay, so this one, the last one I'm gonna show you. Okay, so you see it's gonna generate this image. Okay, so this is nested inversion of 7 circles. You invert with respect to each one of the others. So mutual inversion. Then you do it again. Nested mutual inversion. Okay. So delete that. Now make it enlarge 150. Fantastic and beautiful code. Put the cursor here. Shift enter. Okay. Select all. Shift enter. There it is. Okay, so that's about. That's what I'm gonna. That's all. I'm just showing you some of that. And I think maybe that's it for today. Should I learn Wolfram language? Yeah, sure, you should. Yes, it's very good. It's free. For personal use, hobbyist. Okay, so it's. In my opinion, it's the most the most high level programming language by a magnitude. Not just 2 times, not just 3 times. It's not just it's 2 times better than Python, 2 times better than Haskell or Rust or Golang, or 2 times better than JavaScript or C++. No, is it 10 times better? No. It's a magnitude, okay? It's 1,000 times more high level. So 1 line of Wolfram language equals to 20 lines of Python for every line here. That's 20 lines of Python, okay? And if you are talking about mathematical functions, like derivatives, integrals, solve equation, then 1 line of Wolfram is 1 million lines of Python, literally. Okay, and Wolfram language by default is 7,000 functions built in. Okay, but it's not open source. It's free for personal use. You can download and use for personal use, not for if you work for a corporation. No, you cannot do that. You have to pay like $1,000 a month, 2,000 something. So, but you can buy also you can buy a hobbyist version or student version, depending on which you are, for like 200. I think it's 200 something a year. Okay, so go to Wolfram, just search for Wolfram xahlee.info, Wolfram language tutorial. You can find the download link here. Okay, then you go to it and turn on JavaScript, and you can, Wolfram for software developers. Download Wolfram engine free. Okay. Okay, and that's it. That's that for today. Or you can buy it. You can buy a hobbyist version or student version, around $200 something. Check their website. If you are a professional, you really want to, you don't care. You work at Google. you make $10,000 a month, then you have to buy the professional version, which is like $1,000 or $2,000 something a year, where then you can use in your production. Okay, in your production. Okay, that's that. It's especially useful for if you are a scientist, engineer, mathematician, chemist. If you are an average coder, industrial coder, like you do web dev, JavaScript, or you do Linux, kernel, Rust, if you are just that, nothing else, then Wolfram language, maybe it's not for you, okay? But if you are an engineer, if you are a physicist, if you are a chemist, if you are even a lawyer, a businessman, or if you are a gamer who on the side some coding stuff, or you do Bitcoin, you do you like to learn about crypto, you like to learn about machine learning, you want the most powerful in human history, a calculator sort of, then Wolfram language is for you. Okay, if you are the professional coder, you code C, C++, game dev, Linux, that's all you care about, Wolfram language is not for you. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that's that. So let's see, is there something else I want to talk about? I think that's it. We talked for 1 hour. Talk to Grok, I did. Okay, talk about array next time. Anything else? I think time to say goodbye. How many people are watching? Let me make a guess. 10. 10 or 15. Okay. Check 10. Jesus, jackpot. I won the lottery. Any more questions? Last chance. This is your last chance to say something. We shut down in a minute. Let's see, did we talk everything I wanted to? Yes. Xahlee keys news, Neo layout, yes. Wolfram language demo, yes. Circle inversion, so when I'm ready, in a few days, I'll put it here and you'll see it on GitHub. Right now it's empty. I wrote this like 30 years ago, but I'm improving it. So it's actually not so trivial. I mean, technically, the inversion code should be trivial, but then but the Wolfram language powerful, and there's a lot to do actually. Yeah, so I'm improving the code. And lots of things change. After 30 years. All right, I'll learn. I'm a chemistry engineer. Fantastic. Okay, bye guys, bye. Too much smoke. I need to quit cigarette. Yeah, I've been, wanting to quit cigarette. That's why I have this kind of cough. It's so funny today that we talked to Grok Annie and it came out a guy. That's the most funny thing today.